Okay, but what really works on social media? Let's talk about it. Hey there, Enterprisers, what's good? It's Jason Lago here again, and in this video, I want to talk to you about proven social media tactics for 2024. That's right, proven social media tactics for 2024, right? In other words, what's working now on social media, if your goal, that is to create a large following and ultimately use it to fuel your brand and your business. Because that's why we're in business, right? Is to do business, right? To make money, make sales, make an impact, you know the whole deal. Now, when it comes to using social media to do those things, you need to understand that there really are just a handful of tried and true proven techniques and tactics. There's a lot of nuance and a lot of subcategories that go with that, but ultimately it comes down to mastering just a handful of core skills, right? Some core competencies. Because the reality is, if you get these things down, then they'll not only work in 2024, but they'll work anytime, right? These are tried and tested, and it really comes down to that. With that said, you need to understand that a lot of people are taking these things in this day and time and absolutely crushing it with social media, which is why it warrants a video. Because if you're not doing these things, you need to understand and know that you can do it. There's a lot of people who are doing it, and some are doing it even better than others, simply because they've got it dialed in. With that said, I want to give you 3 very simple but powerful, actionable items that you can start running with right now. Let's get into it. Number 1, get skilled at storytelling. Right? Get skilled at storytelling. Storytelling is what it's about. Now, don't let that confuse you. I'm not necessarily talking about story marketing, although I think you should be using your stories, right? I don't care if it's Instagram or Facebook, you have ongoing stories that you can use to your advantage. That is one technique and one facet of what's going on here. More specifically, I'm talking to you about the concept of storytelling. In other words, telling a certain story. As this applies to social media, you don't want to become the person who is just posting and hoping that it sells, right? In other words, people are just posting links out there. Hey, buy my stuff. Go here if you're interested. If you want a free sample, go here and use my discount code. That's all fine and dandy, but it's not going to help you big time, right? And certainly not in the long run, not when it comes to the big picture. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about being deliberate about what you post and when you post and the things that go into it. Making sure that the things like your image and your call to action really make sense, right? Tell the story. I could simply put a link out there and say, buy this product, right? Or I can get someone to model or use this product or to show it. I can show the difference that this product makes, the impact that the service is going to have and in your life if you purchase it, use it, and put it into action for yourself. Does that make sense? And this goes beyond any industry. This applies to not only the beauty industry, but also health and fitness, make money online, home business, whatever you want to call it. Tell the story, right? Show people what is possible out there by telling a story with your social media. So again, things like your pictures, things like your images, things like your captions, things like, the call to action, the hashtags that you're using. And not only that, but also dialing in who is the face of what's going on here. Is it you? Is it somebody else? Are you attracting your dream customer by what you're putting out there? All of these questions will be answered if you tell the story properly. So learn to tell the story. Oftentimes too, it's also worth knowing that that when it comes to telling a story, it is more than just one page that gets it done. Sometimes you got to do a few posts, but that also tells the story. I could show you, I could start off by posting the problem, right? And then I could follow up with the proposed solution and then finish it off with a client testimonial of someone who bought and used said product or service to alleviate that problem. You understand where I'm going here. Learn to tell the story. All of sales and marketing really comes down to stories. And who'd have thought that storytelling, which is one of the most basic common joys of life, is really what fuels this thing. We all love stories growing up. If you think about video games, if you think about major motion pictures, your favorite movie, your favorite cartoon, what are they? They're stories. Yeah, they started as stories being told to us before bedtime, and then they evolved and morphed into these massive things. The reason that we love these forms of entertainment like movies and video games and so on and books, because they're just stories, right? So why not use the power of storytelling in your marketing? I promise you, if you get this dialed in, you'll never be a failure ever again. Number 2, post often, always. Post often, always. Hopefully you get a kick out of that, but you see where I'm going. That's a fun way of saying post frequently and regularly. Post frequently and regularly. Post often, always. In other words, you should be posting all the time. But more important than doing it all the time, or at least equally as important, if not more, is that you're doing it consistently, right? Having a desired established minimum as far as how many posts you put out there in a day's time is absolutely crucial. And I don't want to sit here and try to give you the cookie cutter be-all formula, right? There really isn't one. I've heard some people say, make sure that you're posting once a day, 3 times a day, 5 times a day. I've heard people get into the nuances of science, supposed science anyway, as far as the time of day that you should be posting, taking into account each platform. And I'll leave that for you to research. That's fun, and if you want to go ahead and have at it. I'm not going to even get into those weeds with you, just because I know that there is differentiation out there. But more importantly than those things is so long as that you're posting regularly, frequently, and then you're also doing it often and consistently, right? That is more important. If you would post consistently, that's probably going to have more weight than just if you posted 10 times in one day. You might get a lot of action from the 10 times that you posted in one day, but if you go through a dry spell of not posting nearly as much as that, setting the bar really high for yourself and then never reaching it again, it can be actually detrimental to your business. I don't care if all you can do is once, you'd be surprised what consistency you can do over time. And I've certainly proven this to myself. My students have done it, people I've worked with have done it, and people that I look up to have shown it, to me. Even me, I'm not the greatest, the biggest and the greatest and the most famous YouTuber out there. I hardly consider myself a YouTuber. And yet I'm sitting here after a few years with thousands of subscribers, thousands of views on, through various marketing channels. And yet I also, my commitment was to do 1 video a week. I'd love to see that, increase, but that's what I could commit to, right? That's consistently just 1 video a week. And, here we are, over almost approaching 300 videos on the YouTube channel that continues to get traction, that continues to feed in leads and fuel the business and so on. So it really just goes to show, post frequently, post often, but post regularly, post consistently, no matter what that is. Obviously, you want to dig into the different types of things that you post. Are you posting value-based posts out there? Are you doing stuff that's curiosity-based, looking for engagement, brand awareness, stuff that really identifies a problem? Maybe your job in posting is to do the hardcore sales thing, right? There's times and place for that too. But just know that when you post, you need to post regularly, often, and consistently. Be consistent. That's the most important thing. Number 3, and finally, influencers are it. Okay, influencers are it, and they really are, right? When you talk about an influence and saying he's him, right? Obviously, you want to get to that status too, but believe me, he's him, right? Influencers are it. This is the day and the age of the influencer, right? That's a term that has come to popularity within the last several years, and it just kind of reigns supreme now, right? The idea is to have someone and be someone with influence. That's the goal, because if you have influence, you have an audience, and if you have an audience, you have influence, right? It's kind of circular in that sense, but both lend itself to the idea of marketing a product or a service to an individual, because it's not about marketing products and services per se, but rather making recommendations as a trusted advisor to those who will take your word for it and follow you in that guidance, aka be influenced by you, right? So for those who already have established followings that are close to what you're doing, find a way to collaborate with them. Find a way to reach out to them, befriend them, pay them for their time, buy space on their lists, right? For you to be able to market your stuff. Obviously, you need to craft deals that are profitable to both sides, especially to them, right? You're paying a premium for them. But I can tell you what, when it comes to working with influencers to grow your awareness, grow your pages, grow your audiences, and ultimately grow your business by way of leads and sales, this is a great way to do it. And I keep saying this too, right? Don't let this fly under the radar. Influencer marketing is very, very affordable compared to some of the other paid sources out there, right? Obviously, when it comes to influencer marketing, sometimes you don't even need to pay monetarily. There's ways to cut deals and put things together that doesn't, necessarily involve direct, currency exchange transactions. There are ways to make it beneficial for everyone. You see these things all the time. But if you want to compare dollar for dollar in a paid advertising standpoint, I can tell you what, it's very affordable. You'd be surprised. Often without the red tape too. Now, is it a guaranteed thing? Of course not. I would never make that promise, about this any more than I would any other source. But I can tell you what, if you want to collaborate with influencers, you're in for something that could really, really benefit you, your audiences, theirs. There's a great reciprocal action that takes place, and this is all the more profitable. And what a wonderful thing that influencer marketing is. Make sure you get involved with that. There you have it, my friends. I hope this was helpful to you. Now you know what to do. Make sure that you subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss out on any more hot new content that that I got coming down the pipe for you. Make sure you sound off in the description and let me know which one of these stood out to you and which one of these you're going to take action on that you haven't been doing so lately, all right? This is Jason Ligo with Always Enterprise. I'll see you next time. Take care.